Hello, everyone on YouTube and Facebook. How are you guys doing? I want to make sure, Paul, let me know before I go into my whole spiel. It's not. No? Okay. Well, there's 10 people watching now. Hi, guys. So I just got 10 people watching. So let us know because this is the first time we are doing. Oh, okay, so we're good to go. I just wanted to make sure that we're good before I go into my spiel and then nobody finds us online. So what is going on, Ecamm fam, my YouTube fam? We are here. I see Sammy Superstar coming in with the comments. Everyone is ready for the Stream Deck Ecamm on Deck Mini Masterclass. What is going on? So today is going to be the last day that we kick off the 5-year Stream Deck anniversary, the week that we kind of celebrated. And I'm going to be broadcasting the Ecamm on Deck Mini webinar that I've been doing every Thursday for the last month. If you did not register for this week's Zoom and you want to have a little bit more TLC and be able to interact with us, next week, Thursday, will be the very last week that I'm doing this Ecamm on Deck Mini webinar. So don't hesitate to register. Paul will be putting the links to everything in the comments and I'll bring them up as we're good to go. So for the most part, I have my participants in the Zoom. I am restreaming the Zoom webinar to you guys in the Ecamm communities as well as to my communities. Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate you guys. So I'm not going to necessarily interact the way I normally do because today is going to be our masterclass session. At the end of the masterclass, we will be giving away one lucky winner will have access to my Stream Deck Masterclass in its entirety, and we'll be using what you guys absolutely love because we all know that everyone loves our Wheel of Wonder. Let me just get back to that Wheel of Wonder page. I lost it now. Oh no. See, this is what happens when you have too many pages open. I minimized the page and let me try to pull that up. But while I pull that up, Paul is going to put in the links in the description for you to register because you absolutely have to register. Here you go, Paul. Thank you so much. So if you want to register to enter to win, here's the Wheel of Wonder. There we are. And let me swap this over now. There you go. All right, that's what I was looking for. So if you want to be entered to win an Ecamm or a Stream Deck Masterclass tonight, you definitely want to click on the link that Paul just shared with you guys. It is indiad.live/SD giveaway. You want to enter in your information there and Paul will be getting me the names. We'll be entering it in. And then at the end of the webinar, we will be giving away that masterclass. So super excited for that stuff there. All right. And now let's get straight into it. So the agenda for this evening is we are going to be spending most of our time. Hold on, let me just come back and get the Configure Stream Deck page open. There you go. This is where we're going to be spending most of our time for the evening because when you are getting your Stream Deck up and running, this page over here, this menu that I'm moving around in the bigger box is your Configure Stream Deck menu. So from here, you have a few different options. What we're going to look at first is the plugins on the right-hand side. In the middle are your buttons. So if you have a 15-key Stream Deck, then you'll have the 15-key layout. I have the 32-key, so that's the layout that you have there. So within tonight's class, we're going to be going over the Configure Stream Deck menu. Then from the Configure Stream Deck menu, we're going to go straight into the store, and we're going to be looking at the available plugins. So this is what the Stream Deck store looks like. We're going to go over how you can find plugins and organizing yourself from within the Stream Deck store. And then once we go over that, the bulk of the class is going to be spent going over the Ecamm Live plugin itself. Because we're all, for the most part, I think almost all of us are Ecamm Live users. So I want to show you not every single button, but I want to show you the most popular buttons that I feel will be the best to customize your Stream Deck to have the most efficient workflow and productivity, whether you're live streaming, whether you're doing a presentation or pre-recorded videos on your Stream Deck. Once we're done with the Ecamm Live plugin, we're going to go briefly into the Zoom plugin because we are in Zoom. Everybody uses Zoom. So if you're not already using the Zoom plugin, I will make your life hopefully much easier this evening by showing you the Zoom plugin with some shortcuts. And then we're going to be finishing it off with free, royalty-free music. As an Elgato Stream Deck user, Elgato provides free, royalty-free music for all of its customers. So kind of like some of the monthly subscriptions like Epidemic or Artlist or Audio, you either have to pay maybe a one-time fee to have access to royalty-free music, or you have to pay monthly or annually to get access to that royalty-free music. So if you do upload videos to, let's say, YouTube, to like Twitch and things like that, you don't have to worry about copyright strikes. Well, as an Elgato customer, there's a whole store where you can not only get royalty-free music, but royalty-free sound effects. They have over 10,000 songs and sound effects free. I keep saying free because for me, I don't pay for any of my music. For those of you guys that have jumped in on my beginning, my live streams, my intro, as well as my outro, and some of the sound effects that I've gotten are from the Stream Deck store. And you guys, for the most part, usually comment. If there's you guys usually comment that you like the music and things like that. So we're going to go over that. And then depending on where we're at with timing, I may have time for a bonus. Usually I do, but we have a lot of stuff going on today, especially with the giveaway. So I can't promise it, but I'm going to try to get you guys with the bonus. All right, so we're going to get straight into it. Let me just check on the comments here. And Lewis coming in, reminding everyone so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Lewis. If you do have any questions within one of the socials, whether it's Ecamm or my YouTube page, put a Q : in front of it so that I can kind of filter it and make it easy that way, especially because I'm not going to be paying attention to the comments as much as I normally do. So that's just going to help me kind of see where we're at and filter down to where you guys are. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. All right, so we have our Configure Stream Deck menu. Like I mentioned, on the right-hand side over here are all of your available plugins, right? So you can see I have a ton of plugins already installed. My very first one, my favorite one over here is Ecamm Live. Once I open it, and I don't want you guys to worry too much if you can't read it on your end. I'll try to vocalize it as I go throughout the process. And then again, if you're following along with your Configure Stream Deck open, you'll be able to see that on your end. We have the plugins. If you want, you can organize your plugins by the very top right corner. You have kind of this, like, it looks like a little bulleted list. If I click on that on the top right corner, now you can see I have options to hide some of these plugins. So let's say if I don't use Spotify as much, I'm going to uncheck that. And now once I close that, that's going to hide my Spotify plugin. I can also rearrange things. So let's see. Let's say I want to bring up my timestamp. Just drag these handles all the way, let's say, to the top. And now that's going to show up right around the top. Once I'm done, I hit done, and it saved the order as well as it hid my Spotify plugin, just to keep yourself organized there. Okay. Everybody, you guys are switching over to YouTube. No problem. It's we keep getting that. And I did upgrade to the 720 and it's still blurry. So whatever works for you. Thank you, Paul, for giving the link. I appreciate that. And then, like I said, you guys will have it after the fact. Okay. So we have our plugins on the right-hand side. And then on the top left-hand side, you can see here, it says India Stream Deck XL. If I drop this down, I have a few different Stream Deck devices. So I have my XL, which is my main device that you can see over here. I also have the Stream Deck pedal, and I also use the Stream Deck mobile app. So when I'm on the go, then I have the Stream Deck mobile app, and you can configure it. You can see once I pull it up, it's a 15 key, and you can have it all accessed there. So you have your Stream Deck devices that will show up. And then under the Stream Deck devices, you also have your profiles. So I have a handful of different profiles. This is my default profile where I do most of my work in. I use folders. So if we take a look, I have this first button. It's called Start Ecamm. It's kind of like a crown. Then the button right next to it is the picture of Ecamm Live. That's a folder itself. And when I click on it, it it opens up. It's a little bit delayed on my end, but it does open up to now my main Ecamm profile where I've customized with running my scenes, and I can see that there are some 26 viewers right now. I have some sound effects. If I click on this YouTube button, I've customized my Stream Deck to post messages in my YouTube account once I'm live. So for those of you guys that are on my YouTube page, you're going to see in a few minutes, oh, it didn't work. My account isn't linked. Well, it's supposed to. But here is a quick workaround. I'll show you guys how to connect your YouTube account if you would like to have your Stream Deck send out quick messages. So if you want to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to move over to the right-hand top of the page again, and I'm going to click on this little gear icon. When I click on the gear icon, you can see that this opened up a preferences box. You have your general tab, your accounts, and your profiles. I'm going to click on accounts, and what we can do is I have my Ecamm account that I'm using to stream, and then I have my main Gmail account. I'm just going to go ahead and remove it now to get that chat to work. I'm going to remove both. Then I'm just going to hit that plus sign. So if you've never done this, this is what you would want to do. You'll go to accounts, you'll hit the plus sign. And by the way, I mentioned the royalty-free music so that you don't get a copyright strike. If you're going to take advantage of royalty-free music, you absolutely want to list to your YouTube account the way we're doing here, because this is how YouTube knows that you have permission to use that royalty-free music. Because what Elgato does, so I'm just going to come back over here. Elgato is now going to link my Gmail account. You can see I have access to both, so I'm going to do this twice. This is my main account here. I'm going to allow it. So now we can close this window. And now my Gmail account shows up. I'm going to add the Ecamm account. Do the same exact thing. Allow. And now both my Ecamm account and my Gmail account are linked. So if I use royalty-free music when I'm streaming on my personal page, or if I'm using royalty-free music and I'm streaming on the Ecamm page, neither of those two accounts will get copyright strikes, because Elgato then communicates to YouTube that these accounts, in fact, do have access to their royalty-free music. So let's close that back out. Now that I've relinked my YouTube account, this should work. And I'm going to press it. And now there is a check. You can't see that on my Stream Deck itself, but if we wait, you can see for those of you guys that are in the chat, it showed up. If I hit the like and sub button, the second one, now that shows up there. You can see I have these blue icons along the second row, and the blue icons, I've linked my Twitter account. So every time I start a live stream, I'm going to hit live, and that's a pre-customized message that I did. So every time I go live, I hit that live button, and then it's going to tweet to my followers, I'm live, come hang out with us at my YouTube page. That's the link to my bio. That one didn't work, but it works the same exact way. I just have to relink the accounts. If I wanted to direct you guys to my site, you have that there. And so you have that demo of connecting your YouTube account and then using your Stream Deck to do preset messages. So let's go back to our main page here. And let me check in on you guys in the comments. All right, Rich, I'll get to your question very shortly. Just want to look and make sure we're all good to go. All right, very cool. So we went over accounts, our settings, general. And so if we go back here, you hit the plus. You have if you stream on Streamlabs, if you stream to Twitch, you have Twitter, YouTube. If you have any of those accounts, I would recommend you connecting them there. If you use multiple profiles, so you can see here, I have my default profile. I have a Final Cut Pro profile. For those of us with Ecamm, Ecamm automatically gives us their own profile by default. This is where you can get access to it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I have this third button, and that I got from Alec Johnson's Take One Text. He has a whole Zoom profile that he provided to us, and now I've added that to my Stream Deck. If I hit this third button here called Zoom, that's going to open up my Zoom profile. And now you can see I have a plethora of customizable links that I can use from within my Zoom class. And if we go here, you can see, so under where it says Stream Deck XL on the upper left-hand side, you can see it, this profile drop down, it changed to Zoom icons. I'm going to back out. So for me, this upper left-hand corner, if you look at the live demo mode, this upper left-hand corner where it says Zoom over here on the screen, I'm going to press that button and that takes me back to my default menus. So that's just getting to know the Configure Stream Deck software itself. I'm not going to go over everything because I do have a full-blown masterclass that I offer. Paul might have already put it in the comments, and I do have a special coupon for you guys. It's a $50 off coupon called Ecamm on Deck. Paul will also put the coupon code there. So if you want to kind of have access to all of the lessons where I go over literally everything much more slowly, and you can pause and replay and follow along, I would suggest that you take advantage of that coupon and you take advantage of the Ecamm on Deck or the Stream Deck Masterclass that I have. So now we are going to move on to the Stream Deck store and the plugins. So let's go here. Actually, I take it back. I'm going to come back to my Configure Stream Deck menu. How do you guys get there? So how you get there is on your Configure Stream Deck, you have this little baby Stream Deck, I like to call it, on the upper right hand side. If you see my mouse, it's kind of moving. It has colorful keys. There's a plus button. I'm going to click on that, and now that opens up my Configure Stream Deck store. And this is the Stream Deck store itself. So on the left hand side, you can see we have Discover, Plugins, Icons, Music, and Sound Effects. You can search your store. So if we go into plugins, we're going to look for, let me just click on this. There's a little bit of a delay. So while I wait, let me just close it up and make sure I don't have multiple pages open because sometimes that might happen. All right, so I don't have that. Let me just open up the store again. There you go. Okay, plugins. There you go. Now it's acting up. Now it's acting the way it's supposed to act. Let's give it a second to load. Okay. So I see some questions. I'm going to go through most of the beginning agenda and then I'll stop in a little bit and I'll come back to the questions. So I don't want you guys, and thank you for making sure that you put Q: in front of your question because then that helps me easily filter it when I am ready. Good stuff, guys. All right, so now we are back to our Stream Deck plugin store. Again, on the left-hand side, you have your tabs, your Discover tab. From within your Discover tab, this is kind of like a newsletter main page, what's happening with Stream Deck kind of deal. I like to look at this at least once a month because Elgato definitely does. You can see right here where it says monthly roundup for April. They'll give you what they think are like the featured apps or the featured plugins to use. So I've learned some really cool things there. If they have any new products, they'll list it there. So I would say peruse your Discover page at least once a month to help stay in the know of different apps and plugins and what's happening with maybe software updates for Elgato itself. But for now, we're going to get to our plugins page. It defaults to the all section. You see that you can sort this over here on the left-hand side. If you want to look specifically for lighting, you can click on lighting. And then this is going to show you all of the available plugins for your smart lights. I have the the Elgato Control Center lights. So you can see it's my left-hand side, might be your right-hand side. This is what I use as a key light. You can see I have this button here on the physical Stream Deck. As I press it, it's going to turn my key light off instantaneously. I'm going to press that button again and it's going to turn my lights on again. So if you get one of these smart lights, in theory, you can customize it the same kind of way. The same thing for my overhead lights. My overhead lights are controlled through if this then that, which you can link to your Stream Deck. So you can see I have a little bulb over here. That's a bulb. You can't really see it, but there are bulbs. Right now I have blue. When I'm working during the day for the bank, I turn on bright white. And if you watch behind me, it instantly turned on the bright white lights because that's how I've customized my lights and the Stream Deck, the shortcut buttons. If I come back and I want to put it back to blue, I'm going to press that button, and then within a couple of seconds, it changes my lighting for me. So if you have smart lights, you absolutely want to take advantage and link your smart lights because it is super cool to be able to control with your Stream Deck. If you don't already have the Ecamm Live plugin, I want you to go ahead and search Ecamm. You want to make sure that you are in the All tab. I may have, let's see, all right. So it's all. Okay. And it's a little slow, so we're going to bear with me and my system. I have an M1 Mac, guys. Don't start talking about my system. And I got gigabit speeds. I don't know what's happening. The Stream Deck just wants me to look. Oh, this is not. Oh, because I'm not. So let's go back to all. There you go. So I clicked on all. Thought I did that. You type in Ecamm and now it shows up. If you have not already installed the Ecamm Live plugin, you'll have an option here. Make sure you hit install and then you're good to go. What I will also say, because we are going to go into Zoom, let's go ahead and search for the Zoom plugin. So we want to back out of there. Okay, there you go. Type in Zoom and that will also show up. It says Zoom plugin. It looks like this bad boy here. So you can see I don't have this one. It says install. I don't want to install it, but yours is either going to look like mine where it says uninstall, or if you haven't installed it, it'll say install. Once you do that, now we can go ahead and go back into our configure Stream Deck menu. And this is where the fun actually starts. So we're going to spend most of our time, like I said, now going over the Ecamm Live plugin. The Ecamm Live plugin, because you guys know how amazing Ecamm is and how amazing the development team is at. Rich, you're so funny. The coupon code should have been that's so funny. Rich put a comment in the Zoom telling me about my coupon code name. You're right, it should have been. Anyway, so the way the developers are so great with Ecamm, they did just as great as a job with the Ecamm Live plugin for Stream Deck. So I have that. That's my very topmost plugin on the left-hand side. I'm going to expand this now, and you can see there are over, because I've counted, there are over 28 buttons that the developers use with the Stream Deck SDK to help us customize our show while using Stream Deck. So I absolutely cannot go over all 28 buttons, but I will go over, like I mentioned, what I find to be the best and most used plugins, what's going to help you be the most productive and, really automate your show and your workflow. So we're going to get straight into that. But before I start, let's take a break and let's get into some questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Zoom questions first and see. Zoom is looking blurry. I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem on the Zoom side. Yes. Okay. I'm just scrolling through. Okay, no questions on the Zoom side, so you guys are good. Let me check in on you guys. Q. Well, let me do that. Okay. So first question from Mr. Rich Graham. Can you use the mobile app on more than one Mac? Not at the same time. Yes, you absolutely can, Rich. And that's how I have my setup. So you can see when I went back to my devices, I'm going to go back to iPhone. I have my iPhone here. Let's just go to my default profile. I have my iPhone here. When I'm traveling, I don't take my Mac Mini, I take my MacBook Pro. And so what I do at that point is I end up spending more time on the MacBook Pro with the iPhone mobile. So I customize this menu on my MacBook Pro, right? And so what I do, once it's customized the Stream Deck menu on my MacBook Pro, I actually just go in and I export the profile to my iCloud, and then I can come here on my Mac Mini and import it so that I have the same profile between the two devices. So with Stream Deck, you don't have an account per se, where once you log in, it's not like iCloud, right? That if you log into one iPhone, it's going to be the same across the board. Stream Deck doesn't give you that. But the workaround is to wherever you're going to use your iPhone, your mobile app the most, and I would recommend this with every device, not just the mobile app, is every so often creating a backup, back that backup to a cloud somewhere. So if God forbid something happens, or if you needed to switch computers, like most of us here, I know you guys usually all have your desktops, your Mac minis, and then you probably do have a laptop. Well, now you can easily import and export profiles, and it can be the same across your devices. So that was a great question, Rich. Let me just come back to my Stream Deck profile here, and let's come back to questions. Christina, will the royalty-free music work the same way for Facebook, meaning you hook up your Facebook account into the Stream Deck and then Facebook knows? So that's another great question. I don't want to say no, because royalty-free music is royalty-free music, but there's no option. If we go back to our gear and we click on accounts, the Stream Deck does not have an option for Facebook. So you don't have to link anything. But I'm assuming, and I've streamed, I use Restream all the time to stream into both the YouTube pages as well as my Facebook page, and I've never gotten any strikes. So what I'm guessing, I think it's safe to say that Facebook recognizes the music as royalty-free music, so you don't have to worry about that on that side. Another question from Rich. Connecting accounts, can you only have one channel? I answered that per YouTube account. So it looks like I might have answered that, Rich, as I was going through it. David, how are you? Great question. What about Facebook going through Restream? I need more information, David. Let me get more information on that. What do you mean? What about? I break that down for me. Ask the question with a little bit more info. Cicely says, can you show how to set up those automatic messages in YouTube and Twitter? So we can try to towards the end. I want to make sure that I stay on brand. I'm going to favorite this. That might be the bonus. But let me stay on the agenda. I favorited your comment. And so let's go through everything else and then we'll kind of go back there. Are there no more questions? Let me just come back and check in on you guys. If there are questions, that means you guys didn't put a Q at some point. Just scrolling through. Okay. All right. Thank you, Val. I appreciate you for the support. Paul is reminding you guys, don't forget to register for the Ecamm giveaway. So it's indiad.live/SD giveaway. And we are good to go. Okay, so it looks like I did get all of the comments for the questions as of right now. The last question was from Cicely. So like I said, I did save that there. Let me go back. Just get I want to make sure I'm on my right Stream Deck page. I'm moving stuff around. I didn't even realize I was moving stuff around. So if I need to have... Okay, now we're good to go. All right. Let's get back now to the good stuff. So as I mentioned, the Ecamm Live plugin has over 21 buttons that you can customize. What I like to say about the Ecamm Live plugin and every single button that they make available is that if you program your Stream Deck the right way, you can probably control your entire stream or pre-recorded videos with Ecamm without even using a keyboard and a mouse, because they give you every possible thing that there is. However, for me, what we're going to go over first, and I'm going to actually start a clean page for you guys. We're going to do a clean slate, and all I did was on the very bottom of my Stream Deck page, you can see that there is a plus button. So right now I'm on page 4. If I click this plus button, it's going to add a page 5. If I want to delete page 5, I'm going to right click on that number and I can either duplicate it or I can delete it. So for now, we're going to work out of page 4, which is a clean slate. And when you're starting off with your plugins, and this is going to work, the process works the same regardless of what plugin you're using. So the first thing is we need to get whatever button we're going to choose onto our main workspace of where our buttons are here on the Ecamm. We're going to go and start off with the Run Scene button. You can drag and drop on whatever button you like. The OCD in me likes to keep things in order. So we're going to start from the top left and go all the way across. And what that does is Running Scene does exactly what you think it is. It tells the Stream Deck, takes the information from your Ecamm, and it says that it's going to run scene. You can now dictate what scene you want that button to run. So now if we look at the screen here, you can see that on screen, there is this kind of green border around the box. Quick tip, the Stream Deck works across the board, just like Mac shortcuts. So if I take this button, you can see now that this button is highlighted, kind of like a bluish color. I'm going to take my keyboard. I'm going to Command C. I'm going to click on the next empty button. I'm going to Command V. And now what this does is that this copies and pastes that same exact button across the board. So whatever floats your boat, you can do the Control or the Command C, Command V. You can drag Run Scene from the plugin itself, or there's right click. I can right click on here, copy it, and then once I go to a new button, I can technically right click and paste. So however you choose to organize yourself and what works, you can kind of work that way. So now I have 6 different Run Scene buttons. If we're looking again, now there's 6 different buttons. All of these buttons have this green highlighted box around them. What the Stream Deck is telling you is that that is the active scene that you are currently in. So as I drag this Run Scene button over into the Ecamm, into the Stream Deck rather, it defaults the scene that I'm actively in within my Ecamm software. So for the first button, I actually want this to be my main page where it's just me with no menus. So I'm going to click on this very first button. Then I'm going to come down here on the bottom. Let's see. I apologize that it's a little bit slower than what it should be. Let me check in on you guys while that does what it's supposed to be doing. Paul is just reminding you guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Yeah, Janelle, if it's blocked, I'm not sure if you're using a VPN. If you're using a VPN, that could be what it is. So you want to make sure, because I believe a few people have already registering. If not, talk to Paul and Paul can help register you for you. You just have to reach out to him, okay? Hey, K-Walk, how are you? Okay, so now you can see, no. Hold on. Let's see what's happening here. Now I'm going to wait. On the bottom, so if you click on it on your end, on the bottom middle there, I'm waiting for the options to show up. Let me see. Not sure why. It's acting a little laggy. There you go. All right. So now you can see down here on the bottom, this popped up. So it says title, and then under it is scene. This is a drop-down box on the bottom middle. So I'm going to click on this drop-down box. And what that does is that opens up basically all of my scenes that I've created within Ecamm itself, right? So the Stream Deck software, when you're organizing your Stream Deck using these Ecamm Live plugins, the Stream Deck plugin mimics the Ecamm Live software itself with the names and the overlays and the scenes that you have. So it'll be very easy to kind of customize. So you can see I have all of these over here. I don't want you to worry too much about reading them, but what I want to show you guys is, you see I'm highlighting, right, these different ones. So I highlight this one. I've labeled this in my Ecamm scenes folder, scenes box, India. This second one is India and configure Stream Deck, India and new guest, right? So right above India, if I go up one more, it skips. So you can see here it's kind of skipping, and that line that it's skipping is bold. What that's telling you is that that's a folder that I've created within the Ecamm scenes window. So the way I organize myself when I do my streams is that for every different show, or for like I use Ecamm for my day job as a banker. So I have my banker folder where those are completely different scenes. I have my 100 days of live streams, which is this folder over here in bold. And then these are the scenes that I have under my 100 days of live streams. If I come back down, you can see that there's the Stream Deck, that's the folder, and these are the scenes that I have within the Stream Deck. So you can select which one you want. So if I come back and I select the first one, I should have some like countdown music on. I'm sure you guys' software is not acting this. It shouldn't be. Okay, there it is. Now it popped up. Okay, so now I'm just going to come back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose India, meaning that that's the scene where it's just me with no menu options in the background. So I have that there. And now you can see, looking at that, that first box no longer has a green highlight around it. If I come to my Stream Deck itself, I press that button. Now that button brings me to where it's just India scene. If I come back and I press the button again, now it brings me back to where it is India with the configure Stream Deck. And so basically all you want to do is, as you start to drag over your run scene options, I'm going to leave the second one the same. I'm going to click on the third one. You're just going to dictate the Stream Deck to choose whichever buttons you want. You're going to say, okay, I want this second button, or I want this third button to be this scene. I want the fourth button to be that scene. So if I go into my fourth button, I'm going to click on the drop down, and I want this to be, I think I want it to be with, so let's do physical Stream Deck, which is, if I click on that, that's going to give you a zoomed in version just on the Stream Deck itself. So I have my physical Stream Deck, then I have where we're spending most of our time for the Stream Deck. And then if I just want to talk to you guys directly, we have all of that information there. So you can go ahead and customize your buttons. That's the run scene option. That is where I spend most of my time. You can, if we go to the left-hand side and we look at the scenes again, if I drag over the next and the previous scene, that does what you think that it's, what it says. It's going to be your next scene and your previous scene. So if I click on previous scene, this should go back to, oh, that's an overlay of a giveaway. So for the first, now that we're talking about it, for the first 25 people that sign up for my Stream Deck Masterclass, you will be entered to win this goodie bag. I guess that's a good commercial. You'll be entered to win this goodie bag here that I have on screen. It is valued at over $309. I'm calling it the Ecamm on Deck, or not the Ecamm on Deck, the Elgato Level Up package. And you can see within this package, I'm giving away a Stream Deck pedal, a Elgato Key Light Mini, and all the arms that you need for the master mount flex arm and stuff. And that package is valued at $309. So we're going to hit the next button again, and that just takes us back and forth between the different scenes. So you can see I'm pressing the buttons, and that's just taking me. So that just really depends on how you choose to organize yourself. I mostly use the run scene option, and I just specify which are my most commonly used run scenes, and I kind of go from there. So you want to, the next one that I use often is the show and hide overlay button. Gonna drag this over, and that does what you would think is you're gonna tell the Stream Deck to select whichever most commonly used overlay that you want. You want to give it a minute, and I'm going to click on this drop down towards the bottom. It's going to open up all of my overlays. And I want to look for those of you guys that know me, you know that this is, and it brings it on the screen. So that's my overlay over here. If I just want, oh, don't do that. No, India, lock your scenes. There you go. Move this over this way. And if I press that button again, it hides it. Press the button again, it brings it on screen. So that's really good if you have lower thirds. If you do have, let's say, a scrolling ticker as an overlay, anything that you use as an overlay that you are constantly showing and hiding off of the screen, I would absolutely recommend taking advantage of the show and hide overlays. So we've gone over the run scene option. We've gone over next and previous scenes. Now you've just learned about showing and hiding the overlays. The next one I want to talk to you guys about is the camera switcher. If you have multiple camera shots within your scene, I know a lot of us do. Rich is in the Zoom class with me, and Rich has a handful of cameras just like me. So you can kind of make your Stream Deck into a little bit of an ATEM mini, not quite as powerful, but with a camera switcher, you kind of can do that. Now, the caveat, not the caveat, but the caveat to the camera switcher, and this is a limitation of the way Ecamm works, not the Stream Deck itself, is that in order to get the camera switcher to work, you have to be in a scene where the camera is the main overlay. So if you're looking at my scene right now, you can see that I have camera overlays itself. So I have my camera overlay, which you're looking at me. Then under me, I have the camera overlay for my Stream Deck. And then I have an actual screen share overlay that you're looking at my Stream Deck software. You can't control the camera switcher for this type of setup. It has to look like one of these types of setups where the full Ecamm video is now the camera itself. And then what I can do is I can quickly press buttons on the Stream Deck, and by pressing buttons on the Stream Deck, it's going to, oh, I know what I did. I didn't have my one camera turned on. So here's my iPhone. That's that camera there. And I have the Cam Link, which is this camera. That's not working. All right, well, I didn't recustomize the buttons, so let me take a minute and show you guys how to recustomize the buttons. So let's get back into that there. You can see down here along the bottom, I do have these cameras down on the bottom. And what I did was I actually didn't change some of my options. So we're going to go back to the new page that we're working out of. And on the Ecamm Live plugin on the left, I'm going to click on where it says camera switcher, and we're just going to drag the camera switch over. I have 3 or 4 cameras. So I'm just going to Control C and then Control V and do that, let's say 4 different times. Okay, now I'm going to start. So the Cam Link, this first one is my main camera. The second one, I'm going to, most of the work, once you've dragged the button over to your workspace in the middle, you're going to customize it by the bottom middle half. So with a little bit of the delay, once it shows up, I'll have the options of my cameras down here. Let me give it a second. I see Kali just showed up in the comments. I don't want to bring the comments up on screen because my Stream Deck is being the Stream Deck this evening, and it's lagging more than what it usually does. Not sure why that is. So if I go back one more page, let's get back to the main page. And if I choose this second one, I want to see if that works any more quickly. Well, do you guys have any questions? So there you go. All right. So now you can see on the bottom, it showed up. It says camera, there's a drop down box. I'm going to click on that drop down box and all of the cameras that I have connected are going to show up. So I'm going to choose my CamLink 4K number 2. Click on the third one, give it a few seconds and wait for that to pop up. And now with that one, that should work. And what I'll do is I'll actually turn that into my overhead camera. That's the Elgato face cam. Gonna click on that there. The one right next to it is my iPhone. So if I go ahead and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back to my main scene where it's just camera. And how about, this is what you can do is you have your camera, which is the main scene, and you can bring in a camera overlay itself. So now you can see I have this, where's my Ecamm window? Hold on, I lost my Ecamm window because I have too many windows open. Is this my Ecamm window? There it is, okay. So we're gonna bring this over here and I'm gonna make this the face cam, which is that bad boy here. Let me zoom in a little bit. There you go. Focus in on that there. You can see along the bottom, I have the camera buttons. So now it should work. There you go. So that's my overhead camera back there. I'm going to press this button and that is the face cam itself, which is that button there. This one should be the iPhone, which is that one there. And if I go back to the first one, that's that there. So you can see that you can add individual overlays on top of your main camera screen to use as a camera switcher, but it's actually pretty cool if you have multiple cameras and you just want to switch angles. Just by pressing the button, you can kind of go back and forth, and it works like I mentioned in Ecamm Mini, which is a pretty cool feature to have there. Okay. All right. Let's see. So I have 2 more things within the Ecamm Live plugin, and then I'll stop, go back to the comments and questions, and then we'll jump into the next plugin. So let's finish off with Ecamm Live. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the main menu where we are mostly working out of. So we've gone over so far within the Ecamm Live plugin, we have gone over the run scene option, and that just chooses which scene you want to point your Stream Deck to tell Ecamm what to go to. So I've been using that throughout the entire night. Looking at your next scene and previous scene options, we just went over showing, we actually had the show and hide overlays. So that will bring an overlay on screen, and pressing it again will hide the overlays. I want to make sure I'm in the right. Oh, I know what it is because I was customizing a new page with you guys. Here we are. There you go. So you have your previous scene, next scene, showing and hiding overlays. You have your camera switchers along the bottom. And so now is when you're live streaming is adding and hiding comments easily. So instead of double clicking on the comments box itself, you're going to look at your adding and hiding last comment and just drag. I'm going to drag over add last comment. I actually don't use hide last comment because I just take advantage of the built-in automatically hiding the comment that Ecamm gives us. You can choose the amount of seconds from within the Ecamm Live preferences menu that once you have a comment on screen for X amount of seconds, it'll automatically hide it. So I don't use the hide last comment button at all, but I use the add last comment on all the time. So if I'm looking correctly on my screen, there is a comment from Kali, Chocolate Twist Yoga. That seems to be the last comment on my comment box. You can see I'm hovering over it on my Stream Deck right here. I'm going to press that button and it's going to bring up her comment on the screen automatically. So as people start to come in and comment after that, it comes off automatically, right? I can continue to talk and handle my live stream as normal. And if I wanted to bring that comment back on screen, just kind of do it that way. So I use that on every single live stream, probably my most, outside of running scenes, that's probably my most used shortcut button within the Stream Deck. And then lastly, just some guest options. So if you are a Ecamm user or anyone that does live streaming and there are guest users, but within the Ecamm Live plugin, you're bringing in guests through your interview link, then these buttons would be for you. We're going to scroll down on the bottom. And you can see that towards the bottom of this plugin, you have all of your guest options. You have your solo guest, adding in your guest left, adding in your guest right, and also with the mic, I want to talk a little bit about the mic, but let's just talk about solo guest. So we can drag that in here. So you have solo, add guest left, add guest right. And I'm going to bring in 2 mic buttons really quick. There you go. So let's click on, let me see. So I don't have interview mode turned on. So that's the first thing. You want to make sure within your Ecamm Live settings that you turn on interview mode. So those of you guys that have my link, please don't start calling me now. I know that if Doc were around, he would randomly start calling me just to bother me while I'm doing the live stream. So I've turned on my interview link, so I should be able to solo some guests. So what I want to do is, again, I'm going to come back to where it is just me. So this scene over here. And let's see, give me 1 second. So we're going to bring the guest on. I don't have a guest. So this should work this way. There you go. So because I don't have a guest in the green room right now, it's going to pressing the button brings the guest in, but it's going to keep me on screen because technically I don't have a guest. So it's not going to just make solo the guest. But if we press the add left button here, so let me see. So I'm going to go back to solo, add left, add right. Come on, you're making me look silly. And it could be that I can't do it. There's a big possibility that I can't do it. There you go. So now it just switched out. So you can see that when I first started off, I started off on the right. And what I did was I pressed the button add right and it switched it. So let me see. There you go. So now that I have multiple guests on screen, I'm pressing the 2 buttons and it's swapping us. It's swapping where the guests are. So if I come back here, it's swapping me on the left. It's swapping me on the right. I don't think I can solo the guest. Oh, so I can solo the guest. Ecamm is making it look like I'm the guest. So as I press this button, the guests are on. And when I press that solo, it's soloing me. So let's go back. And I know why it didn't do that, because it was user error. So I'm going to click on this solo button over here. We're going to wait for it to show up. Actually, I have to get back. There you go. So click on the solo button, wait for it to get back on the bottom where we can customize it. And then once we customize it, once it shows up, I'm going to give it a second. Once that customize option shows up on the bottom, that's where you can choose which guest you want it to solo. So that's why I was doing it. That was my bad, guys. So you can see now here on the bottom, it says interview guest. When we have the solo button highlighted, it was soloing me as the host. If you want to always dictate it and have it solo guest 1, let's say you always have 1 guest on screen. There you go. Now you can choose which guest you want it to solo. So what you can do is, if you're someone that always has, I know that I spoke to David earlier today, and he has a show where, let's say there's 2 guests on plus himself. Well, then maybe he can bring on, he would copy and paste this solo button 3 times, choose solo for host, customize the second button to solo guest 1, and then make the third button to solo guest 3. In theory, when you add left and add right, it's going to do the same exact thing. You're going to dictate the Stream Deck to choose which guest or which person, which camera to add to the left or add to the right with those two buttons. All right, so now we have this down here. And I restarted my computer before the stream. I think I have too many devices. I think I'm overworking my computer. I have five things connected and a whole bunch of other peripherals. So it might be me. Let's see. So you can see the same thing. So adding left, adding right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do guest number 2 over here. And if we go back now, this should be a better demonstration if I come back to my scenes. Let me just find it really quick. All right. And so I'm going to solo, press that solo button. Did I not change it? I don't think I changed it. So if I add, let's add this in, maybe guest 2. There you go. So now, because I didn't have a guest, right? So now it soloed the first guest because I just brought the guest in. If I bring in the guest number 2, now if I press this button again, now I have guest 1 and guest 2. If I press the button again, and I'm not sure if it's because my Stream Deck is, it might be because my Stream Deck is delayed. But you can test that stuff out. I don't want to spend too much time waiting for my Stream Deck to kind of pick up because I do want to go over some other things there. So let's just come back over this way. And then the same exact thing with muting your mic. If you do have multiple guests on, you definitely want to, especially with guests, with more so not with you, you don't have to do this, but I would say if you do have guests on, I would definitely take advantage of bringing in multiple mute mic options and then choosing, because then at that point, if you have a guest, whether they're in the green room or whether they're in the, in the background. So let's say you have 2 guests on, you're soloing on guest number 1. Guest number 1 may be soloed. You want guest number 2 to be muted. You can easily choose to mute them in the background so you don't have to worry about that. So the same thing, we're going to just click on this drop down and it's going to show you every single audio source that's connected to your computer, including sound effects. So you can see I have my primary mic, I have my movie system audio, and towards the bottom, I know it gets cut off for you guys, but towards the bottom, it has interview guest 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. So you would just choose which mic you want to have quick access to mute and unmute. All right, so let me come and check in on you guys in the comments and see what is going on. So if there were more questions, I'm going to type in a Q. David did clarify his question. The question was about using the Stream Deck going through Restream to not only YouTube, but to Facebook. So that's how I'm doing it. So I always use Restream. I go into Restream, I schedule the post, then I have Ecamm pick up the Restream. And so I'm streaming out using Ecamm, right? I'm controlling everything using Ecamm, but Restream is sending it to all the different sources. But my main thing is throughout Ecamm, and it'll work the same way because it's the Stream Deck is controlling your Ecamm. I hope that answers your question. And Sunny Fridge, how are you? Thank you for coming through. The mic that I am using is the Lewitt 240 Pro. I love my microphone. I love it because it's white, it stands out, and it makes me sound really good. All right. So just as a reminder, you guys, if you do have any other questions, just make sure. Oh, and I see that Lewis already got that. Thank you so much. Hey, stressed out. What is going on? Appreciate you. Kali, what's popping? Kali will be on the show on Saturday, just to let you guys know, for ladies' night. Okay, so now let's come into things. I know that I'm running a little bit past an hour, but that's between answering on the socials and, explaining everything. So I appreciate your patience. We are now coming towards the end. The next thing that we are going to look at is the Zoom plugin. The Zoom plugin is very quick and simple. So I'm just going to come in over here and let's see. So like I said, you can search within your store, click on plugins, look up Zoom. If you haven't installed it, you can go ahead and install it. I'm going to bring my Configure Stream Deck back up. I have the Zoom plugin already installed on the right-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse that. And these are all my options. What I mainly use is the mute toggle. So that mutes and unmutes my mic. The video toggle, that's going to hide and will turn off and turn on my camera. Your leave meeting, just that, it leaves the meeting. Be very careful with the leave meeting because I have been the host. I have accidentally hit the leave meeting and I have ended meetings at the bank with other corporations that I was the host of. Do not be like India. So if you're going to take advantage of that leave meeting button, please put it far away from everywhere else. If you are hosting the way I am hosting today, and Paul is the co-host with me, we take advantage of asking all participants in Zoom to unmute and to mute. And that does exactly what you think it would. So those are really cool shortcuts. And so if I just come back in and now I am going to press my mute and unmute, I'm going to, well, that's going to work for Zoom. So you guys in the stream still hear me, but in Zoom, they don't hear me because it muted my microphone. I'm going to unmute my microphone. And then again, for those of you guys that are with me in Zoom, I'm going to press that camera toggle and it turns my camera off. I'm going to press it again and it turns my camera back on. So very intuitive, very easy. And that's just that. Your other things like your share toggle does that. It just turns on your share screen. If you do choose to record your meetings, you have those options there. And that's pretty much it with that. What I will say is if you guys caught the live stream that I did on Tuesday with Alec from Take One Tech, Alec has his own icons as well as his own Stream Deck profile for Zoom itself. I'm going to click on that profile because I installed it. And what Alec did with his profile, you can see that there are a lot more buttons. Excuse me. And what Alec did was that Alec actually created these buttons along with the shortcut keys, where if you want to share a screen, he kind of did all the work. You can get his Stream Deck, his profile from his store at takeonetech.io. And Paul can put the link in the chat for you to get that because this is absolutely golden. When I was messing around with this stuff, he put a lot of work into this. So this is really good stuff there. Let's go back to my main profile here. Let's go back to page 4. That's your Zoom plugin. And now we're going to get into the royalty-free music there. Okay, so, and Paul is reminding you guys, because we are coming up on the tail end. So if you have not already registered and you would like to be entered to win access to my full masterclass. So I do have a full masterclass where there are over 30 lessons that I go over everything I'm going over tonight and then some. So customizing your smart devices, taking advantage of specific plugins, and even like the Ecamm Live plugin, I go over every single button for Ecamm Live. There's access to OBS and things like that. You can sign up for that there, and for tonight, and for people who registered, there is a special promo code Ecamm on deck, and that's for a $50 discount. So if you are enjoying the masterclass and you want to get more, you definitely want to take advantage of that there. All right. So looking at the Configure Stream Deck menu, you want to click on this little baby Stream Deck over here on the upper right-hand side. That's going to open up our Stream Deck store. Again, within the Stream Deck store, it's going to default to the Discover page. And from within the Discover page, you have some tabs along the left-hand side. You have your Discover, your plugins, your icons, music, and sound effects. So now for our royalty-free section, we're going to be spending time in the music and sound effects work in theory the same exact way. We're going to click on music. Let's see. I'm trying to see what I have open that's causing my Stream Deck to just be so slow. I don't know what's happening. I appreciate everyone's patience. Can I click on this again? There you go. Paul, have you been, I didn't open up a note. I'm assuming, let me open up a note now. Let's see. Yes, okay. Paul has been updating the list. Thank you so much. So I can start doing that as well. I appreciate you, Paul. You're the best. So Paul has already given me a list of people who have registered. So if you have not yet registered, just a final reminder, make sure that you sign up for access or to register to win full access to my masterclass at indiad.live/giveaway, because we're going to be doing that very soon, the giveaway. So let's come back to this royalty-free music. Oh no, there you go. So you can see on the left-hand side of the Stream Deck plugin store, I clicked on the music. And if we look on the upper right-hand corner, there are over 10,000 royalty-free songs that you can select from. If we come back to the left-hand side, directly next to the tabs, you can filter your music down by genre, instrument, mood, tempo, and duration. So for instance, I use a countdown a countdown timer when I am kicking off my live streams. My countdown timer is 3 minutes. So if I want songs that are at least 3 minutes long, I'm just going to drag my duration over till I get till about at least 3 minutes. Let's hey. Come back over here. There you go. And you can just filter this down. And now it's going to, it went from 10,000 songs to 7,288 songs. You can see the genre. So I like to look for I found some good songs, but you can choose whatever is your type over here. If it's Halloween, you can choose horror. For now, let's do, I'm going to click on R&B. Let that filter down R&B. Now this filtered down a little bit even more. So there's 608 songs that fall under that category. And then what you can do is if you want to listen to it, so you can see I have a lot of these songs that are already downloaded. The one with the blue tabs are not downloaded. Gonna kind of scroll down a little bit and let's look at some songs that I haven't listened to. So this smooth over here, smooth hip hop beat, I'm going to hit play. Full warning, if you have headphones on, just lower the music just a little bit. I'm reading Paul's comment. I want to make sure that we're good there. Okay, so we're good. So make sure you lower your headphones a little bit because sometimes the music from the Stream Deck can come on really loud. I'm going to hit play and I think you guys, because I'm doing system audio. So I want to skip. I don't really like that. So let's say I want to hear this song over here. I don't really like that. So I'll just go through a few different ones. I hit play. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's say I like that song. I can scroll through it. All right, and let's say I want to listen to that song. I'm going to hit download because I like that sound there. You download, so you can go ahead and listen to all the musics. You can filter this as you want, whether it's by mood, instrument, tempo, duration, the genre. The sound effects work the same exact way as the music does. So you click on sound effects, you can see that they have they're green wave forms as opposed to blue wave forms. The only difference is that there's not genres or like tempo. You can filter it by categories as well as by the duration. So if you wanted to see like water and you wanted to hear what sound effect that they have for water. So if you want, I don't know, ocean waves. And if you like that, you can hit download. So now I downloaded a new sound effect. I also downloaded a sound. And what I'm going to do now is come back to my Configure Stream Deck menu. From within the Configure Stream Deck menu, then, oh, I see what Paul was saying. It messed up the names. The names, I see. All right. So going back to the right-hand side under plugins, I'm going to look for a plugin that's called Soundboard. For the soundboard, that's the dedicated, I guess, plugin for your music. There are just two options. There's play audio and stop audio. I never do stop audio. I just do play audio. So I'm just going to drag play audio over to this button here. And now you can see towards the bottom, there is this option where you can customize it. What we're going to do is we're going to click on choose because we downloaded all the songs and sound effects that we like. So now I'm going to click on choose. That's going to open up a finder window where the Stream Deck automatically saved that audio. So you can see today, here are the two audio clips that I just downloaded during the stream with you. So I have this one, which is the music, the listen up. I'm going to hit open. And now that puts all my information there. If you guys are going to use the royalty-free music, if you're going to take advantage of that with the sound effects, please make sure that you lower the volume because it is extremely loud. So when I'm doing an intro, the countdown timer, I actually lower it down to about 20%. Anywhere from 10 to 20% is going to be good. Let's do, for this one, I'm going to do 15%. You can customize the music. You have some options over here. I always do, let me make this a little bit smaller so you guys can see the menus. There you go. And so you see you have play stop, play overlap. I always do for music, I always do loop and stop. I also select fade in and fade out. Once you select fade in and fade out, you can choose the length of the fade. I like between 3 and 4 seconds. So I'm going to do a 4-second fade in and a 4-second fade out. Now check this out. So if we look at the actual Stream Deck itself, you can see that this button here, I'm going to press it. The music will start playing. Give it a second. So it slowly fades in the music. If you guys look at the button itself and it's at a much lower volume, I can still control this on the background. So if I wanted to lower it even more, I can lower it down even more. If I wanted to bring it up a little bit louder, I can bring it up a little bit louder. And we have 15%. And Paul is just reminding you guys, let me just bring this down to 10%. Paul is just reminding you guys that the drawing for the Ecamm on Deck has now been closed. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Paul, because we are going to wrap up and do the giveaway next as soon as I'm done with this. So coming back over to the music or the actual Stream Deck, you can see where my finger is. There's waveforms. So that's on the Stream Deck. That's letting me know that I have music that's currently playing. So you can see this a little bit better over here now, right? So there's music that's currently playing, and then it's a little blurry on the screen, but you can see that there's a countdown. Where is it? Oh, over here. I pressed it. It's going to fade out. So it slowly fade out. It tells me that the music, it changed. It's no longer a waveform. I'm going to press that again. And what it does is that it also gives a countdown to show you how much time is left on that music as well. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to press the button so you can hear the fade out. And that's a nice fade out, especially if you're doing that in live streams. I'm just going to bring one more button over so we can do the same thing with our sound effect. So I dragged the play audio over from the the right hand side. I'm going to click on choose. It's going to open up a Finder window. Here's a Finder window. We downloaded the Ocean Waves. So I'm going to select that. Okay. And now that's this second button over here. Oh, hold on. So that's this second button here. I'm going to change the volume. Let's say for sound effect, you can do 25%. I don't do loop. I leave all of this stuff the same when it is a sound effect. So you don't want any fading. You don't want any loop and stuff like that. Just play and stop the sound effect. Press the button for the sound effect. And the same thing with the audio forms. It has a countdown to tell you, and then it just ends, right? So it's a cool sound effect there, and that's how that works. So now that you know how to get the royalty-free music, make sure that you link your YouTube accounts and any other accounts. So like that, if you're going to use the sound effects and the music, you don't have any copyright strikes against you. And that, hold on, trying to get to my Stream Deck page. Share Stream Deck. Oh, I know what I did. I'm on the wrong page. So I need to come to page 1 because I have different buttons that I customize that I actually use for this over here. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my screen share, and we are now sharing the screen. And I guess what I can do is, let me just come back over here. Let's go here and turn this into my Stream Deck. Let's see, what does this look like? Is that okay? That's good there. Well, I'll bring this over here. I'm not gonna go too crazy with that stuff. All right, are you guys ready? I know this is what you guys are really here for. You're really, let me go. That's what I wanted. And come out just a little bit. Cool, perfect. You guys are really here for the giveaways. Paul, so is the last one, I have the last registrant as Glenda before you close the registration. Is that correct? I want to make sure. I don't know if Paul is texting me. I have no idea. I know Paul and I are communicating somewhere. Oh, yep, he texted me. Of course, I just wasn't paying attention to my phone. Thank you. Okay. All right. Sorry, Paul. Paul sent me a bunch of text messages throughout the stream, and I completely ignored him. All right. So let us close out these windows over here. And like I said, I know this is what you guys are really here for. You are really here for this giveaway right here. So I'm just going to Control C, Control V. Did that work? There you go. Control V. Now I have my registrants on the Wheel of Wonder. Oh, Zoom, crazy, slow, and sharing screen. Okay, that's good to know. All right, so there's that. Paul, I'm just going to come in, check, and see if there's any more questions. Tech Troublemaker, what is cracking? How you doing? What camera are you using as the overhead? Tech Troublemaker, this is the face cam. So I removed my ZV-1 because my overhead camera was too much money to be spending on just an overhead camera. I got the face cam, the Elgato face cam, on sale for $150. It's now currently zoomed in, mind you. I think that this is a really good camera for it to be an overhead camera. So that's great. Good stuff. All right, guys. So, and I love to create the absolute anticipation because I know I drive you guys crazy with the anticipation. Oh, thank you, Paul. Paul answered it. I'm sorry. Hi, Glenda. Thanks for coming through. What is going on? All right. Chantel is here. It's okay. You registered twice. Well, at least you told us. Did you see the disclaimer, Tech Troublemaker? That's so funny. That's all right. It's all good. I think Paul handled it. That's why we did things the way we did. All right, I've created enough anticipation. So let's do this full screen. And are you ready to see who's going to win access to the Ecamm? I keep saying Ecamm, my Stream Deck Masterclass. Okay, I'm gonna click this button. Who will it be? Who is the winner? Who is the winner? Steven? Steven! All right, Steven. You are the winner. Not sure if you're still here. Let me turn off the suspenseful music that you guys love so much. Congratulations, Steven. We have your contact information. If you will only put your last name, we may need more because I have to register you on my account. So you have to either get in contact with me or get in contact with Paul. So congratulations to Steven. You have won access. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Glenda. I appreciate that. And for those of you guys that did not win, I do have a special promo code. So my full masterclass, let me just come back to these. Here is the promo. Paul has everything because he's amazing. Although don't mind his spelling. We'll do this one here. The spelling on the Stream Deck messed it up. So my full masterclass is available on courses.indiad.live/store. You can use coupon code Ecamm on deck to get a $50 discount off of it there. So if you did take advantage and if you did enjoy the classes and what my GoPro just turned off. But if you did find value in what I went over in this mini masterclass, I would greatly appreciate any sort of support, whether it's buying the masterclasses or you can show me support by buying me a cup of coffee or 2 or 3. I know that Paul will also put that on the link there, but it's indiad.live/BMAC. You can buy me a cup of coffee. And of course, you guys can reach out to me. I try to be as active as possible in the Ecamm live community. I'm definitely active in the Let's Get Live community. So you can always reach out to me there. I try to answer questions as much as possible. So that is all she wrote. I am on my 100 days of live streaming journey. I think today's day 77. I have no idea. I think today's 77. I've lost track. I know that I'm within the last 30 days, the last 20, like 5 or 26 days or so. So I appreciate that. The replay will definitely be made available. So for those of you guys that did register at Ecamm on Deck, you'll get access to the Zoom replay. And then obviously now I streamed this live, so you'll also have it on my YouTube channel as well. Sunny Fridge says, this was amazing. I'm excited to learn about the royalty-free music. You are very welcome. I'm so glad. Yeah, day 77. Was it day 70? I think it's day 77 or day 78. It's one of the two, Glenda. I've already forgotten, honestly, at this point. I'm toast. I'm ready for it to be done. Not in a bad way, but in a good way where I can now really focus on my website and my blog and go back to creating videos kind of like the way I have been and these type of pre-recorded videos. Oh, look, Cicely has been patiently waiting. Cicely, absolutely, because you hung around and you reminded me 100%. So for those of you guys that are in the Zoom, I'm going to leave the Zoom on until I'm done with the stream. Feel free to drop off. No pressure. You can hang out with me. I'm not going to stream for much longer, but I am going to go over the bonus. And so the bonus was what I showed previously. Let me come back. So let me actually... Let me just change my scenes really quick. Let me close this here. Let me close some things and let me open up my Stream Deck, configure Stream Deck menu. Okay. Okay, so good. We're going to do this from scratch. So we are going to, I'm going to just do one of these empty buttons here. So for those of you guys that may have come in late, one of the things that I do is that you can customize the Stream Deck. You can link your YouTube account and then you can customize the Stream Deck to type in specific messages in your YouTube chat. You can also tell the Stream Deck to send out tweets for you. So when I do my streams, I actually will try to remember to press the live button, and it'll send out a tweet to my followers telling them that I'm live, and it directs them to my YouTube page. And then I have a few let me just go back. I can show you guys. It's in my main profile. So the way I have it in my main profile, I have this button, this YouTube button. And if we click on the YouTube button, you can see the red, those are red YouTube chats. And then the blue are the, my Twitter chats, my tweets. So I'm going to click on my and what that is going to do is that is going to, you are very welcome, Cicely, no problem. Did that work? I know sometimes it's on a delay. I didn't see it. We'll give it a second. I didn't pay attention. Let me see. Oh, no. Okay. All right. So we're going to kind of do this from scratch because for whatever reason. So what happens is, I'm glad that it's doing it. So what happens is sometimes if I come back over here, look at the physical Stream Deck, I'm going to press the button and it gives kind of that exclamation. Right? So you can see now that exclamation means for whatever reason it did it. And it doesn't normally did this twice in one evening. I'm not sure why it did that tonight. But if you ever get that exclamation, you just want to go in and recreate it kind of the way we did. So what I'm going to do is we'll stay here on this page. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go to the plugin store. And from within the plugin store, you're going to search YouTube. Of course, at the end of the evening, my Stream Deck is now acting much quicker. So I have, it should come up YouTube, not the YouTube ticker. I'm not sure. Maybe it comes up automatically once I link the accounts. Because it's this plugin here called YouTube. So it might happen automatically. Then the next thing you want to do is you're going to click on your gear icon. So you can open up your preferences window. Within your preferences window, you're going to click on accounts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually delete all 3 accounts because they're all acting up today for whatever reason. So I'm going to delete my Twitter account and my regular YouTube account. And we're going to add these accounts one by one. So I'm going to click on my plus button. Let's link YouTube, my main YouTube. I have access to these 2 accounts, so we're going to do both. I'm actually just going to do my Gmail account because I'm not going to stream to Ecamm tomorrow. So I just did my Ecamm account, and this just tells you, my YouTube account, and it just says your account is now set up. You may now close this window. So I have my Gmail account. If you have multiple YouTube accounts, please list all of them here. So if you do stream to multiple YouTube's account, if you have access, just list them all because that's going to link everything. Your royalty-free music, it's going to list your chat. Just do all of them. So like that, you don't have to worry about anything. Click on Twitter. The thought process is exactly the same. I think that's my password. Yes. Thank you so much for the support. I'm glad. Janelle, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. You guys are the best. You guys are supporting me. So I appreciate all of you guys. All right. Come on. Come on. Waiting for Twitter to link. So while we wait for Twitter to link, what I will say about the Twitter account is that it's something like the tweet will only broadcast. You can only send the same tweet once every 12 hours or something. Okay. Oh, let me see what's happening here. So now we're back to acting slow. I'm not going to do it like, oh. If this doesn't work. I know that you get the thought process. There you go. Ooh, I don't know why this is doing this. Okay. Uh-oh. All right, so I'm not gonna, I don't remember what my password is, so we won't log into Twitter, but the thought process is exactly the same. And how you do it works the same for both your Twitter and your YouTube accounts. So now for YouTube, we're just going to come in and I'm gonna click on chat message, drag that down. I'm gonna drag this down to the bottom right corner over here. And now you see we have a fresh box. We're going to wait. So now you can see down here, if you do link multiple YouTube accounts, you'll have the drop down where you'll have access. Even here, you see it says add new. It'll take you back to that prior page. You can add new. I want it to be my main page. And so I'm going to say, thanks for, let me make sure I spell properly. Thanks for watching. And then here, I'm just going to title it. Thanks. You can see now on the bottom, this customized, it says thanks. It's a white chat box and we are good to go. I'm going to press the button and let's bring it back up. So what I want you to look at, what I want you to look at is the physical Stream Deck. I press the button and that should show a check mark. Yep, that showed a check mark. And if you give it a few seconds, boom, it showed up on screen right there. So that's how you customize your YouTube chat boxes. And so now in theory, if I come back and I press my yurt, that's a chat. And if you give it a few seconds, it's going to come down. There you go. And if I want to remind you guys to like and sub. And so you can see I have, what do I have? I have 5 YouTube chat buttons. I have my buy me a coffee there. If I want to point people to my bio, there's that, what I customized. And then you can see it's pretty quick because from the time, if I press the button, right? So this is my site. That should be the right site. From the time that I press the button that it shows the check mark, give it a second. There's a green check mark. It shows up in your YouTube chat. That works really well. And that's extremely helpful if you have, let's say you don't have a moderator, or like there are times that sometimes I'm doing a show and it's conflicting with where Paul is already committed to moderate for another show. Excuse me. I tell Paul not to worry about it because I kind of self-moderate that way. So a good one to add in, we'll do that actually because I should have probably done it over here, is if you have a question, don't forget to put the Q colon. Right? So let's do that. That's so good, Cicely. That makes me very happy. I'm glad that you guys learned a lot and I do appreciate the support. So here, let's do Q colon, and then come down to the message. If you have a question, I have to copy Paul's what he has because he words it so well. But basically that showed up and then the same thing. I'm going to hit the Q, hit that button over here. We're going to wait for that check mark thingy. And then, oh, there you go. I should have just copied and Paul. It was too late. The lag, the latency. There you go. I'll change it and adjust it. But that is what we have. So that was the bonus. Wish I had the wish the Stream Deck had the same options for Facebook. Yeah, I know. I agree. It is, it's one of those things, but glad, Glenda, that you are finding that useful. So with the viewers, you can go ahead. This will tell me how many people are viewing on my specific YouTube page. So you can see the account there. And it's telling me on screen over here that on my YouTube page, there are 9 viewers. I actually use that option if we come back to my Ecamm. So I actually use it within my Ecamm profile and I let Ecamm tell me how many people are watching using Ecamm. So right now between the mix, because I am restreaming, so between the Ecamm accounts and my accounts, Facebook and YouTube, there's a total of 29 people currently watching. So I don't actually use the specific YouTube one because I do restream a lot. And so I will keep an eye out on that, the Ecamm live button for the amount of viewers. And so let's just come back over here. And that is all we have, folks. That is a wrap for Ecamm music, Ecamm royalty-free music, Ecamm on deck. Well, no, it's not a wrap for Ecamm on deck. I'm giving one more mini masterclass. However, what I say about the mini masterclass is that the content, the agenda is a fixed agenda. So for those of you guys that were here from beginning to end, you can, of course, I want the support. So you can come and hang out with us next week if you like, but don't think that I'm going to go over different stuff. The agenda stays the same. I just did multiple days. So like that, if someone, there were some people that, let's say, came in late today. So like Glenda, she came in a little bit later. If she wants to sit in for the full class next week, then she can register for next week on the, 26th at 8 p.m. And then she can take the whole class. But the agenda staying the same. If you do want full access, then that's where you absolutely want to take advantage of the $50 Ecamm on deck coupon and get the full access to my masterclass, because as the Stream Deck updates the software, as there's new plugins and things like that, that's going to be a live working access that you'll have access to. So you are very welcome. I feel like I'm losing my voice. I did a presentation yesterday and I've been talking all week. So I'm glad that you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much, Roger. I appreciate that. Mr. Riley's World says, I can't wait to use some of these tips when I configure my Stream Deck. Awesome stuff. Excuse me. That is probably a sign that it is time. So let me do what I do. Put on some music to do our outro and just end the stream. Thank you so much for Mr. Moderator Paul. You are a blessing. I don't know where I would be without you. We appreciate you. Christina, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. You have a great night as well. And Christina won the XL, so you will take good advantage of that. I will be back for my 100 days of live streaming because I have about another anywhere from 22 to 21 days. I don't remember which day specifically today was, but I have about another 21 to 22 days left. So I will be streaming consecutively for at least 3 more weeks. I am at the tail end of my 100 days of live streaming challenge. And boy, it has been challenging, but in a good way. I've made new friends. I've launched my masterclass. I've launched a website. You guys have 100% supported me along the way. And we have some really good stuff. I do have some good stuff planned for the rest of the live streams. One of the things that I'm going to be doing probably at some point next week is showing how to use the iPad editing app called LumaFusion, which is kind of like Final Cut Pro, but for the iPad. And from a beginner's perspective, how to edit on your iPad. So I'm going to try to set some of that up next week and just some other cool things. So if you enjoyed my content, check out my masterclasses. If you enjoy my content, definitely come over to my YouTube channel. I'm India Delgado, the only India Delgado that you can find on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate all of you guys. You guys are the best. This community is amazing. And if there's stuff that you want me to cover, let me know. I am more than willing to support you guys and help you guys out. If not, have a good night. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out, you guys.